tyres, getting ready to move up through the field, because that is what is happening. As Ayrton Senna comes through to complete his 14th lap, he's still got to change tyres, and he's doing it into the pits now. This is much earlier than I expected, for one, and it means to say that now up into the lead will go the two Ligiers of Arnoux and Lafitte, and if they have chosen a harder tyre compound than Ayrton Senna had, with the Ligiers on Pirellis and Senna on Goodyears, it could be the making of the race. But out of the race after a searingly fast pit stop goes Senna. He's closing up on a strange helmet to most of you, that of Alan Berg, and there are the two new race leaders. And you can see that Lafitte is going through, is he? Yes! Jacques Lafitte, with a gentlemanly wave of his hand, takes the lead from René Arnoux on his 173rd Grand Prix. Incredible! As Martin Brundle sadly walks back to his pits out of the race. You look now at the race leader, and there is a bit of a gap now in comparison with the past, and Senna's got the lap record down to 1:43.3, as you see, 87 miles an hour plus slightly, and Prost with Piquet right behind him, up to Mansell, who is third. The World Championship leader is showing all his experience and all the smooth finesse, because Prost really drives with his fingertips. Now look at the gap. Lafitte, Arnoux second, third and fourth, Mansell and Prost. The two Ligiers still leading, the Williams still third, the McLaren still fourth, but for how much longer? Piquet there in the Williams in fifth position. Look behind Piquet, and there is Senna sixth.
Well, I think the time will come if Prost has been nursing his car a little bit, which is difficult to say, it's only a guess, and if he has, it's time that he made his move, because he will know that Senna, if he can't see him in his mirrors that is, which is unlikely with the car in the way, but he will know that Senna is charging and catching the whole lot of them very quickly.
And between the second place man, who of course is René Arnoux, and Senna, who is sixth, there is less than 4 seconds on lap 26, and Senna's changed his tyres. Many of the others will have to come in. The race will then be thrown into confusion because there will be new leaders, but never mind that for the moment. Ayrton Senna, the youngest man in the race, second in the World Championship, having won a Grand Prix already this year, is charging. Prost is coming up to take Nigel Mansell, and third position as Lafitte goes through in the lead. Arnoux second, Mansell is still third. Prost tried for third position, but Mansell managed to shut the door and keep him back, and meantime Nelson Piquet is keeping a watching brief in fifth position. Arnoux, Mansell, Prost, Piquet, Senna in sixth position. Still seventh and eighth, but dropping back the two Ferraris of Alboreto and Arnoux. Still in ninth position is now Eddie Cheever.
And this really is a very, very tough race indeed for the drivers. It's a scorching hot day here. It's very hard physically anyway, and to drive in this close company, knowing, because they're all experienced drivers, knowing that one little slip will put you and possibly somebody else out of the race, and they are all well aware of the fact that you can't score any points if you're not in the race. So whilst they're racing hard, and there goes Nelson Piquet, and he's jumped Alain Prost, and that was a mistake by Prost not to spot Piquet coming, and they're really falling all over each other, and Senna is right up behind Prost. So second, third, fourth, fifth and sixth, absolutely nose to tail.
Lap 27, magnificent. Arnoux second, Mansell third, Piquet fourth, Prost down to fifth, and Senna going through. Senna goes through, up into fifth position, surges past Alain Prost, who's lost 2 places in half a lap.
Funnily enough, I don't think Prost is going to be too upset about that, as he couldn't get to the front of that group. I think he'll be quite happy to sit at the back of it, with bearing in mind the possibility. And René Arnoux has gone into the pits then. There he is, changing his tyres. So Arnoux went for tyres, and this may have been good timing by Arnoux So Prost would probably rather see them fall over each other.
This race is, if it was needed, another indication of the real maturity of Nigel Mansell. Put up pole position in Canada, second on the grid here, but he's having to fight to hold Nelson Piquet back. And Piquet, of course, will be anxious to prove that he's the top man in the Williams team, a double world champion. And Nigel Mansell is ahead of him in the championship this year. And Lafitte is coming up to Derek Warwick, and Piquet goes through into second place, and Senna challenges Mansell. So it's now second Piquet, third Mansell, and fourth Senna. Lafitte is past Warwick, and you saw what I was talking about there, just a momentary lapse by Nigel Mansell, and Nelson Piquet sprinted through to second position and he's up behind Derek Warwick, who will be looking to lap.
Yes, it looked to me then as if Nigel missed a gear, because he seemed to lose momentum inexplicably, which usually means you just missed a gear as you're going up through the gearbox, because his momentum was lost to such extent that Senna very nearly got past, but now he does. So Ayrton Senna follows his fellow countryman Nelson Piquet through past Nigel Mansell, and Mansell is obviously in trouble. It's more than just a missed gear, because Prost has got into the pit.
Yes, Prost into the pits, just about to take Nigel Mansell, but instead he dived behind the Armco into the pits. That was a good stop. 9.6, not as good as the McLaren team have done in the past, and certainly not as fast as that meteoric stop that the Williams team did in the last race of 7.4 seconds. But now Nelson Piquet is right up with Jacques Lafitte, who's going to stop next lap, we think, to come in for tyres, and he's going to lose the lead to Piquet.
And Nelson Piquet goes through down the inside, but Lafitte's coming in. He's not about to fight a major rearguard action or take any risks. But the interesting thing is, I think that maybe these drivers who are stopping now, they've had to take the decision during the race. They were hoping to go the distance, but I do feel they delayed it a little bit long. I think that Prost should have stopped some 7 or 8, between 5 and 10 laps ago, to get maximum advantage as Senna punches through. Lafitte in tyre trouble, but not a problem, because he's coming in to change at the end of this lap. So, new first and second as Nelson Piquet is pursued by Ayrton Senna, the two Brazilian drivers. But there is plenty to come, with René Arnoux out on fresh tyres already, Alain Prost just out on fresh tyres, and they're within striking distance.
What an enthralling, intriguing race, because René Arnoux is now fifth on his new tyres, and when his teammate Jacques Lafitte goes into the pits, and there he does in the background, Piquet leads, then Senna second, coming up to Alan Berg in the Osella to lap him, and that's giving Nelson Piquet a chance to increase his lead, because Senna has also got to lap De Cesaris in the Minardi after he has taken Berg, which he has done, and into the pits then has gone Jacques Lafitte. Very quick stop. He's out and on the course already. But now, while we wait for things to settle down a bit, and you saw Alan Jones there in the Lola Ford, look at the new race leader, Nelson